Alright guys, last slide I promise. In this video we're going to just look at some of the changes from Bootstrap 3 to version 4. Alright, so as far as design, Bootstrap 4 has a much more flat look to it as opposed to the gradients that version 3 used. So flat design seems to have become more popular in the past few years or so. It has a more subtle and clean look to it. We also have extra color classes like the light and dark class, as well as these outlined buttons here. So basically a white background with the colored text in border. So the grid system has also been improved. The entire architecture has been changed as Bootstrap 4 now uses Flexbox for the grid. It's also moved away from fixed pixel units to REM units, REM and M units, which give it a more overall responsive nature. We also have the addition of the XL class for extra large screen sizes, which are sizes 1200 pixels and up. And really widescreen monitors are becoming pretty popular, so this is a nice addition to the framework. Now the grid isn't the only part of Bootstrap that uses Flexbox. In fact, the nav bar and many other components are using it. But we also have these custom flex classes where if we want to assign an element as a flexbox, we can just add dflex. We could do flex column as well if we wanted to make it go vertically instead of horizontally. We have different alignment classes and justification classes. We have responsive flex classes. So there's been a lot added to this framework that has to do with Flexbox. And if you've never used Flexbox, don't worry about it. We're going to go over all that in the sandbox as well as in the projects. So Bootstrap 4 also introduced cards, which have basically replaced panels and wells in version 3. There's also these also use Flex, and they can be formatted in all different kinds of ways. So you can basically just have a border with some padding if you want, or you can have a header and a footer. You can include images, you can do image overlays, background colors. There's all different ways to display your content inside of cards. And then you also have something called card decks, where you can put all the cards together in a row. You have card columns, which is kind of like a grid of the cards. So there's a lot you can do to display your content. So there's also been changes to the nav bar. It now uses a more flat design, just like most of the other components. It also uses Flexbox for alignment as opposed to floats. And we can add different sizes in the navbar expand class. What this means is that if we want the menu to collapse and be responsive on small screens, we can just do -small. If we want it on medium screens, we can do -MD, as well as large and extra large. Okay, so it makes it more responsive. We also have some extra color schemes as well. All right, so as far as forms go, there's been some changes, not much. They dropped the form horizontal class. Forms using grids require the row class and can use the call form label for labels. What I really like is that you can now make large and small inputs, text inputs, by using the form control LG and form control SM classes. And then if you want help text under your input, for example, under your text input, you don't use the help block class anymore. You use form text. Okay, and we're going to go over all that. Another big change is Bootstrap 3 used the less CSS compiler, and now version 4 has moved to Sass due to its popularity over less. Version 3 did have a port for Sass, but version 4 uses it natively. It also uses something called libsass to compile your Sass even faster. And it's the second project, I believe, that will be building a theme using Sass. All right, so some other changes. We have bigger fonts and headings. We have some extra display classes for headings. Bootstrap 4 dropped support for IE 8 and 9, which opened up some possibilities. We also have the reboot module, which basically builds upon the normalized CSS, providing many HTML elements with somewhat opinionated styles using only the element selectors. Okay, so adding basic styling without tags, without classes. We also have inverse tables or dark tables. So basically we can have a dark background on our tables as well as the table heads. Glyphicons were also dropped, and it's now recommended to use the Font Awesome library, which is what we'll be using. We'll be using version 5 of Font Awesome in this course. We also have some awesome spacing classes for additional margin and padding, and we can put this on, the top, bottom, right, left, all sides. We can do just the top and bottom, just the left and right. So these are really helpful as well. So those are some of the bigger changes. Obviously, it's not everything, but let's go ahead and jump in and get our environment set up to start learning Bootstrap 4.